Chapter 3. All Belongings. The two of them sat opposite each other and ate their noodles in silence. Clarice would carefully peek at Eric from time to time. She noticed that Eric was eating his noodles in an extremely refined manner. He did not make any sound, and his actions were so elegant that he actually looked like a young noble. He did not seem like a local ruffian or hooligan who lived in the countryside. Eric seems like a decent person, Clarice thought to herself. However, looking at her bleak surrounding, the house, and even rain leaking through a roof tile, Clarice shook her head as well as the absurd thoughts in her mind. After Eric finished eating his noodles, he quietly looked up at Clarice, who was eating like a little hamster, which put him in a better mood. He then waited for her to finish eating. Clarice put down her bowl and found Eric looking at her expressionlessly. She was a little nervous. Is there something on my face? Clarice touched her face awkwardly. Facing Eric's eyes, she became more nervous. She really wanted to know Eric's plans for their future. As a married couple, where would their living expenses come from? How were they going to live? Seeing Eric shake his head, Clarice bit her lips and asked tentatively, what are you going to do today? Exercise. Why? Eric moved his chair away, stood up, and stretched his body. His doctor had instructed him to exercise every day. This would help his body recover and reduce his sequelae. It was very helpful to his health. Oh, okay, I'll go to the city to return the wedding dress later. Eric's eyes dimmed. Seeing Eric looking over, she squeezed out a smile and reached out to pick up the two sets of cutlery. Eric didn't care about anything regarding their wedding. However, he did not realize the trouble that Clarice had gone to. She had to rent her wedding dress from a shop. Now on, he did not want to care, but when he saw Clarice's defeated expression, Eric frowned slightly. He stopped her. Wait a moment. What's wrong? Clarice looked confused. Eric walked to the broken mahogany lacquer cabinet, took out a small carved wooden box from the bottom drawer, and handed it to Clarice. What? Clarice took it and weighed the wooden box. She was confused. She opened the lid and saw a crystal-clear jade bracelet lying quietly in the box. Even though Clarice did not know how to appraise jade, just by seeing the color and quality of the jade bracelet, she could tell that it was worth a lot. Eric glanced at the jade bracelet. His assistant had said that it was for a lucky draw. Giving it to Clarice now was a form of respect for her. This is all of our belongings. Since we are married, this bracelet will belong to you from now on. Wasn't Eric a pauper? How did he have such a valuable thing? Clarice held the wooden box in her hands in a daze. She opened her mouth and said, such a valuable bracelet. Take it. Eric did not look at her again and walked out of the house. This must be the last valuable thing the Luo family has. She must take good care of it for Eric. Clarice exhaled and closed the wooden box. She put the bracelet back in its original position. By the time Clarice washed, dried the wedding dress, and arrived at the city on the rickety country bus, it was already noon. When she got married, her stepmother and father did not prepare anything for her. Moreover, she had spent all the money she had on her to pay for her mother's treatment. She was really short of money, so she could only choose to rent a wedding dress to get married. The shop where she rented the wedding dress was located inside a shopping mall. It was not considered too high-end, but since it was pretty and had a good price, Clarice rented it. After Clarice laboriously carried a large bag with the wedding dress into the shop, the female shop assistant who was sitting behind the counter and playing with her phone lazily raised her head. She looked Clarice up and down, then used 2 fingers to pinch the hem of the wedding dress. She said disdainfully, "Come on, you just got married. How did you ruin the wedding dress to this state? What's this smell on it?" Clarice wiped the sweat from her forehead and quickly explained, "I washed it with soap." It's very clean. There's no problem. You've only been married for 1 day. Did you go to the countryside to farm and feed the pigs in it? Moreover, the wedding dress has to be dry cleaned. Do you understand? Can you afford to pay to fix it? The female employee rolled her eyes, then cursed in a low voice. Where did this country bumpkin come from?